Yo, Chris, what's up, my man? How's it going, dude?
Yo, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Adam. How we feeling today? What's going on?
Bro, it's all about Trump, man. Trump on the timeline. Did you listen to that full? I mean, it was a long. Baroque really went all out. It was a couple hours. I tuned in and out, heard some of the main points. Did you check it out last night?
Yeah, man, definitely checked it out. Huge kind of event in general. What a night for Farouk. What a night just for kind of crypto and to see where it's going. And what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts following last night?
Well, my first thought was for Emblem Vault when I heard that it was going to be a soulbound token, a governance token. Which I mean, obviously the timeline was pretty bearish on. There hasn't been great success necessarily with governance tokens, but you can see why their team is like, well, how are we going to attack this from the SEC's perspective? You're going to, as far as my understanding goes, you're going to have to be an accredited investor, right? Which I mean, it's this hidden little secret for anybody who doesn't know. To be an accredited investor in the US, you basically have to just go, yeah, I'm an accredited investor. I mean, just basically, it reminds me of like the in 2008 when everybody was getting mortgages, and it was like you got to have you got to be making $200,000 a year. Well, all it was, you could just lie on your application and put 200. I mean, people were doing this all over the place. It's very similar in the kind of quote unquote accredited investor space. So but you're gonna have to be able to, fill out that paperwork. I'm sure. So it's open to US investors. And I think the reason they're doing this as kind of these soulbound tokens is just from a legal standpoint, it just becomes a lot cleaner for them. How those are rewarded and stuff, it's going to be interesting to see. But immediately for Emblem Vault, I was like, bro, nobody can attack this better than Emblem Vault. Because if there is during the process, for example, when you bought like the Trump NFTs, right? You could buy and pay for them with your credit card, right? But when you wanted to take ownership, you could just paste in basically a MetaMask address and you would then receive the NFTs. If this works in that same way, you can basically paste in an Emblem Vault address on Ethereum and receive the soulbound token inside of an Emblem Vault. And for anybody who doesn't know, what that'll allow you to do is basically trade that ownership on Emblem and throughout the Emblem ecosystem. So we can work, you'll be able to, get a loan against it on Arcade. You'll be able to sell it on the Emblem marketplace. Like, dude, this is like, if it's possible, and I'm not saying it is because we don't know the technicalities of how this is going to work. But bro, like Emblem is uniquely positioned to allow trading of these non-tradable assets. And that for me is like, fucking let's go, man. I was when I heard Soulbound, I was like, holy shit, here we go, bro. Here we go.
Yeah, I haven't thought of it like that. And reading your thoughts last night, I was like, man, that is a killer use case. Obviously, no one else in the industry can do anything of that scale. Yeah. So pretty exciting there. What do you think about the timing? What do you think about why they're even focusing on something like this at this exact moment? I mean, it kind of seems a bit odd to me that they're spending so much time on something like this when they have a presidential campaign to run that's pretty close.
It seems completely crazy, right?
This seems pretty.
It seems crazy. Like normal people would not do this, right? You're trying to win a presidential election. Why would you throw in this risk, right?
Right, especially right now, right before the election.
Right now, I mean, he's already done it with, a bunch of 3 NFTs set he sold.
This is a bit different though. The risks with totally different. A DeFi protocol are, I guess you mitigate a lot of the risk if it's going to be soulbounds in some way, right?
Yep. Totally.
So it seems like they've thought about it, but kind of, really wondering why the timing at this exact moment and why it couldn't be 2 months down the road or 3 months down the road, whatever it might be.
Well, I'll tell. Well, that I know why. That I know why, right? Because that is, even Trump knows attention's really hard. If he were to lose the presidential election, how many people are going to be really interested in this DeFi product come January, right? This is the best time for him to sell them, right? And they may, they may not have it fully formed what they're going to do, but they can do the sale now, pre the election, right? Do the sale now, raise whatever it is. How much is he going to raise? $50 million, $100 million? Like,
it's going to be a ridiculous number.
dude, it's going to
I'm
be
trying to think of
ridiculous.
some of these raises before. I mean, you throw a MetaMask wallet up and you raise $50 million. What is Trump's MetaMask going to fill up with?
Dude, I mean, could it raise $300 million, $400 million? Like completely in the realm of possibility. Like, especially, it's funny because behind the scenes we were talking about it and it was like, well, it's not going to attract necessarily the kind of like Solana degens, but what it will attract are the ETH whales, right? Like completely. And so, those are that's big money, right? And so yeah.
And I mean, you have to factor in people just trying to get close to Trump, people buying for other reasons other than just, grabbing the asset. I think it's pretty insane. He's everywhere, so it's kind of easy to overlook him, but he's, in my opinion, hands down the most famous person on the planet. You turn on any news channel at any point in time, it's probably going to be about Donald Trump. I was watching a docuseries about the Fox News scandal, and it was basically all about Donald Trump randomly. Everywhere you look, I mean, he's got to be the most famous person on this planet. So just kind of how much he can raise is pretty mind-boggling, and that's kind of what he's spent his life doing. So it's fascinating to see it play out, especially in such a heated moment. So crazy to see.
You think about, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, like this idea of, he's saying DeFi protocol, but I also did definitely hear in there like stablecoin. Stablecoin was definitely a big talking point. And if you think about it, like when he first came out, like, I'm going to launch something and everybody's like, oh, it's a Solana coin or something. My gut initially went to stablecoin, right? Because if they do a stablecoin, that's where like this massive amount of money is. And you just think about it, like if he has the awareness where he could build a stable coin, people would actually use it. Like, this could be legit. Like, this is the type of thing where, I mean, everybody, oh, he's a billionaire. Look, man, there's a big difference between having $1 billion or $2 billion and having a business like, USDT, right? That sloughs off $500 million or $1 billion a year in like operating profit. Like, dude, that's a totally different ballgame. So he's trying to get, dude, would you do it? Would I do it? Hell yeah. Given the opportunity to like potentially have, the number 2 stable coin or potentially the number 1 stable coin, bro. I think it's for me, it's like, this is smart. This is just smart. Like, he should
Right. Trump USD. I mean, you can totally see that. Just the real TUSD. And, just about him in general, he really catches a lot of flack for how many businesses he's had. But, in tech and everything like that, we really encourage innovation. And a lot of these businesses don't really work out, but, they're still funded with his own money and money that he's raised and things like that. It's not like starting these businesses is free of charge or risk-free. And so, sure, he's had a ton of business ventures in the past, and maybe some of his ethics or whatever could be challenged, but just that people make fun of him for maybe going bankrupt or, having bankrupt businesses. I think that's kind of a flawed argument, because really we want to encourage people to try new things. And if it's not working, you literally have to shut it down. What are you going to do? So that's just my take.
Let's go to Smokes. What's up, man?
I was going to say, what's the difference between the centralized digital currency and all these stable coins that would possibly be controlled by the government? Wouldn't it?
It's literally
yeah. So.
It's literally the same thing. I think, to a large degree, like the whole flip flop of Wall Street to being positive crypto is strictly based on this idea of stable coins and them being the ones who can kind of issue the stable coins. They see what Tether's done, which is basically turned, my personal opinion, turned basically from a scam, system to now legitimate, because they've made literally billions of dollars in profit, and kind of brought them back from the dead. And so, they just see this opportunity and they don't want to miss it, right? They don't want to miss that potential to just be, billions of dollars in revenue every year. I just think that's what it is. And so, yeah, Trump's trying to get in there, I mean, literally on the space last night, he's like, we don't want to let these Wall Street guys, and it's like, but you're thinking, it's like, dude, you're just basically, we don't want them, but I should be able to be in place, right? It's like, that's what it is. It's like,
he fits in perfectly. He fits in perfectly.
Just jumping over each other to get this fat bag. Go ahead, R Cubed.
I feel like we're gonna
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I think we're going to have the same thing as Wall Street, except in the crypto world. It's like just going to move over.
Yeah. So, hey, what's up, fam? I'll tell you guys, it's, I think anybody that follows me knows my sentiment on our boy Trump here.
For sure, RQ.
Hey, Lord help you if you do follow me, right? Because it
No,
is
it's
kind
great.
of
It's great.
right now for myself. But removing all of the politics to the side, I think there's risk, right? I do see a lot of risk with this. Just, you have to consider and you have to factor in the existing criminal trials against him and his family and their business, right? My first question is, what does it mean if they are, they've already been found of business fraud, right? What does it mean if he is found to be an insurrectionist? What does it mean if his family is found to have committed, conspiracy against the United States? What does that mean to everyone that's investing in this platform? Now, clearly, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to make my money. I'm still trying to build a Bell's Coins bag, and I've got plenty of crypto. There's other ways I'm going to make money. But I do find, somebody mentioned it earlier, that, why is he doing this? And I ask myself that same question. Like, the guy's running for president. If he really believes he's being attacked by all sides, shouldn't he focus on his campaign and running for president? And what he's going to do for the country? Like, why is he wrapped up in a DeFi platform, trying to launch this? I think it's kind of crummy, but that's my opinion, right? And at the end, what's in it for them? I do like your idea, though, Adam, about using Emblem vaults to make this thing portable. But I think, I've kind of flagged to you already my risk.
Careful, bro, careful. And I totally appreciated that take, and I don't think you're wrong. I think there are substantial risks to buying into this platform or funding it. First of all, there's just a risk of, will it work, right?
Right.
Lots of people have tried stable coins, and basically there are kind of one or two that actually get used in mass, right? So, I mean, there's a significant risk that he's not able to get that traction, or that his DeFi platform just fades into nothing. Like, dude, this shit is hard as fuck, right? Like, so there's significant risk there. I don't think you're wrong. There is definitely, if he loses and, the current administration comes down even harder on him, will that potentially impact his platform? 1,000,000%. Yeah. So well taken.
Right. And, look, and I'll just leave it at this. Yeah, I do appreciate the light that he is bringing to crypto, right? Whether I like him or not, I mean, obviously he's talking about it, and clearly, the Dems are paying attention, right? And hopefully, we'll get Warren's, head out of her rear end, and she'll realize that this tech is valid, this tech is needed, and there is a real bright future for the adoption of blockchain technology in finance. That's, kind of the silver lining for me. But, personally, I'm just going to watch from afar and, hope everyone does make money, and hope that there are no victims in the end, which, we talked a little bit, somebody mentioned it earlier, but there's been many victims to all of the businesses that this guy has run.
Yep.
So
yeah,
thanks, man.
A trail of failed businesses there. That's for darn sure. He puts his name, seems to me like he'll put his name on anything if you give him enough money. And most of that stuff fails, right? It's like Trump water. What a great idea. It's like, dude, this is the stupidest idea ever. But somebody probably paid him a few $1 million. He was like, yep, we'll do water.
You really never know what's going to stick, though, and you never know what's going to be the one. And so taking, a bunch of shots on goal isn't necessarily a bad approach. And he's got the perfect funnel to do it. So if anyone can make these things work, it's definitely someone like him.
The reality is that our, average people, you and I, cannot imagine what this is like, right? To have this many opportunities.
For sure.
To just be able to fail and literally next week try something new and have more people throw money at you. It's like,
that's the dream. Isn't that kind of the dream?
It would be unbelievable.
Fast track to see what works and what doesn't, shut it down. So
yeah. Have you guys covered at all what is unique with the platform? I mean, I listened to that entire segment with Farouk yesterday, and I'm still unclear. Besides these soulbound tokens, besides the distribution, like, what is unique? Was it all about how simple they're making it? they were telling that story of Eric and Aave and trying to do the loops and how confusing it was. Is that the value proposition here?
I think the value prop is Trump.
Yeah, I think it's more of a white label for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a white label.
Ugh.
Yeah. Hey man, we know in the attention economy, data has significant value, right? It does. It just does.
True.
I don't think they necessarily have to do anything different. I think just him being able to drum up awareness is a big deal. And who knows, the thing is that when you have that kind of like brand power, you can forge deals where, maybe he becomes, I don't know, for X, he becomes the payment thing, or I don't know, who knows, man. It's all wishful thinking at that point. That's where you get into these kind of crazy hype cycles.
It's really crazy. I mean, when you think about really just an average or mid-tier CT influencer throwing up a MetaMask wallet and raising like $40 million.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like literally the most famous guy on the planet that can take money from every corner of the internet. That is R-Cubed, and anyone, please feel free to come up and join the conversation. This should be a fun one. But R-Cubed, what do you think that someone like him would be able to raise? You're kind of a good candidate to ask. You're a bit more on the neutral side. So what do you think someone like him can raise for a project like this?
Well, I mean, do you want me to like factor in like money from Russia, North Korea?
Of course, it's the internet. Of course.
Well, I mean, I think in a way, look, I mean, I was joking earlier in that you can kind of fudge, not KYC, but you can fudge, and I'm sure they will have a KYC aspect to this as well. So KYC, you're gonna have to be, legit, U.S. citizen or entity. But that said, they will be able to attract kind of regular degens. I think people will, claim that they make $1 million a year so they can be a whatever it's needed. So we'll get degens. I mean, crypto Twitter will buy this, right? So what's your gut? I mean, do you think they're going to just price it at, okay, we're going to sell, what was it, 60 some odd percent? So say 60% of this stuff. And it's going to be, I don't know, 60,000 of them at 5,000 each, 10,000 each. What's their number?
I couldn't even begin to tell you, man. I couldn't, but I will tell you guys this. I'm an accredited investor. And the moment you become accredited, it is really simple, like you were saying, Adam. Yep. But get ready for the number of cold calls of people pitching you everything. Because you do go into a database as an accredited investor, and you will get calls about gold futures and corn futures and all sorts of craziness.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So this is my rough estimate. If I said that, okay, they sell 60,000 of these things at 10K each. All right. So that would be $600 million. Is that possible, dude? 600 million?
Yeah.
Or maybe they sell, 60,000 at 5K each, for 300 million. So, I mean, I can't imagine it's less than 300 million. I think 300 million.
They're going to go. They're going to cast a big net. Yeah. They're going to go for $1 billion.
For sure. 20, 30, 50 million might be some of theirs, or some of their closest partners, 100 million. And then just shoot the rest.
Yeah.
Seems crazy.
Bro, how much are you buying, bro? That's the question. I am super, you guys, immediately when I heard Soulbound, I literally was DMing in our Discord, because I was like, man, there is going to be the degens, nobody wants to sit on a Soulbound token. Nobody. So if that opportunity is available, bro, everybody's going to want to do it, because to be able to trade this thing, I'm super pumped, bro.
Yeah, no, that's epic. Good thinking there. Looking forward to seeing what we can do with it. Should be an exciting next couple of months, huh?
For sure. I want to let everybody know on tomorrow's space, we're going to actually dive into, if you saw that lawsuit, the SEC basically came to an agreement with the guys who created it. Was a Gary V. I don't know if Gary supported it or if it was, one he actually launched, but he was a big part of it for sure, which was basically like a restaurant where the NFT got you like exclusive access inside that restaurant. Anyway, the SEC settled with him for like, $1.5 million fine or whatever. Anyway, we're gonna have a lawyer on tomorrow. Our friend Carlo is gonna come on and kind of break down that lawsuit, go in a little bit more depth about what was going on with the with the Song of Day Man lawsuit. We're gonna dive in a little bit more on tomorrow's show about that.
Sweet. What's going on in the Bells coin ecosystem? I know that there's a lot
Smokes, give
of
us the
activity.
update, bro.
Yeah, let's shoot for it.
Smokes, what's the update, man? Oh shit, is Smokes in class right now? You're muted, dude. Bro, Smokes must be in class right now. He's in math class right now, bro.
What a legend.
What's happening in Bells was Taproot got activated.
Awesome.
So that was the big thing. It was funny. I pinned it up top if you guys check it out. That it would be impossible to plan this timeline, which was literally insane. Basically, the Taproot activation happened on the birthday anniversary of Animal Crossing. So it's like the, Animal Crossing's, 25th birthday happens on the same day as Taproot, which is amazing. We talked about the next halving, or epoch as we're calling it in Bells, because it's like a 90% reduction in miner rewards. Happens on the election day, November 5th. It's crazy. And then so it's just like all this stuff is coming on. And then of course the May 5th or May 4th one, May the 4th be with you, is going to be like the final halving, bro. Bells coin, man. Bells coin. It's crazy.
It's crazy to see the ecosystem really kind of blossom. And I really think it fills that niche that we've kind of been talking about all year, where the pendulum has clearly swung too far to proof of stake. There's not enough attention. There's not enough investment dollars going to proof of work blockchains. And, we talked about, really wanted like someone like Doge to really step up and say, yeah, it's a fun meme coin chain, but it's really, an alt L1 for proof of work. It's the second biggest proof of work chain. And it really seems like Bells is going to fit that niche. And I think that that's a really big niche. I think it's like a huge part of the market that's just completely missing right now.
Yeah. We talked about on an earlier show, Fractal, over the last week, getting a lot of pushback from people, especially Bitcoiners. And I think that was
Of course.
the thing mainly with Fractal. Wasn't necessarily like the pre-mine, of course, struck people as wrong, or just kind of, maybe quite a bit unfair that it was a 50% pre-mine, but that it also like this was it was sold as like, this is going to be like an L2 on Bitcoin. That was definitely part of like the narrative early on. And that turns out to be just not the case at all. Like this is a brand new blockchain. Yeah, they use the Bitcoin source code, but this is just a new blockchain. This is like Bitcoin SV. I mean, it's not even Bitcoin SV. It's just, this is a brand new blockchain, and with no like L2 connection at all. And so people like, why would I even really take part in this other than the initial hype cycle, which is happening right now? And so, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if you've been tracking how many, people have been inscribing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw gas fees were pretty high. I saw mining rewards were pretty high. So I think it was going pretty well over there.
Well, I mean, people are saying maybe it's a minor psyop.
Yeah.
Earn minor rewards because basically it's following the same, similar hype cycle to Ordinals. But of course, Ordinals was new and different. While this is like a, third or fourth or fifth kind of retread of that's, birth, with a huge pre-mine. And that, I don't know. It doesn't have, for me, it doesn't have the same vibes. I could be wrong. Like Leo said, I think on yesterday's show, he's like, look, what's happening here is we have this huge hype cycle, basically VC funded hype cycle, right? There are literally millions of dollars behind this. It's going to get listed on Binance. The market cap is fucking nuts. It's like a $6 million market cap. What does that even fucking mean, right? But what that does is it allows you to attract developers, right? And so if they can really attract somebody or some team or something that actually moves the needle long term, it could work, right? But what are the odds that you get that kind of killer app on Fractal? What's the odds it gets on Fractal? I don't know. 3%?
What do you think about these L2s, these actual L2s being more so of the smaller proof of work chains, just like they were the smaller proof of stake chains
Yeah.
instead of actual L2s. Like what are the chances that the L2s look more like Litecoin and Bell's coin than they actually do these VC funded L2s?
I mean, part of my current belief is that there's just going to be a lot of L1s,
Mhm.
and it's just going to be how we connect these L1s together. That's why I feel really comfortable with Emblem Vault, right? And where we are kind of positioned is that my current gut says it's going to be L1s. But I don't know. In a lot of ways, we're definitely running back kind of last cycles, 2021's cycle on proof of stake chains, where we saw Polygon and a couple of others kind of get birthed and have a little bit of traction. And now we're seeing the exact same thing happen on Bitcoin, kind of for the second time. And it certainly has more traction this time, but I'd love Dogfather's take on where we are and if I'm wrong about this. Tell me about it, Dogfather.
GM. I wish I knew, honestly. I wish I knew. I mean, typically when we talked about L2s, let's say on Ethereum, right? When we had like crazy gas fees of $100 plus, then, you had to do something on Polygon just, to save some funds. Right now on Bitcoin, I mean, the fees are like crazy low. So, fees is not the driver. It may be a speed of transactions for, let's say, degens or gaming and the like. I mean, for collector assets like ordinals, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you wait a block or two, because you want to hold the stuff for 10 years anyway. So you need to really know where's the advantage of going to an L2 on Bitcoin. And right now, we don't have any kind of use case that actually needs a 30-second block time like on fractures. Yep. I mean, it's still not like on Solana, so you cannot compete with Solana. The degens may be a bit happier trading meme coins if they don't have to wait so long, but I mean, they can also trade on Gate or on OKX. So I don't really, I mean, tell me a use case that you can do over there that you cannot do on L1 or on a centralized exchange. So let's say trading your Audi on Binance. I mean, is that worse than bridging over to an L2 that's like run by Unisat and the like? I mean, what is safer? I mean, what are the security assumptions behind both? I mean, and all of that is not clear yet. It's just like always, a lot of speculation. We want to be first and try it out and make some quick gains. I haven't seen much convincing, what's the real benefit of going there? I haven't seen much.
Totally. It's like, yeah, where is this like, pumped up fund marketplace, or, where's this like ease of trading, like of a DEX screener or something where, we hear a lot of talk about it, but I haven't seen it on one of these yet. Like, where's the killer app on any of these? I think the only kind of thing that sticks out to me as something that was like actually worked was, Merlin chain allowing staking of assets and you would earn some Merlin token, right? That was the only thing that kind of got people excited and actually like did something. But that we all know what that is. That is just like that's the blast model, right? Just get people over here. We'll reward them with a token that we print, and it is what it is. I mean, even so much like on Fractal right now, we got these Cat 20 tokens and stuff. Bro, I see on my timeline, it's all people sharing Google Forms, bro. It's like, you want some of these? Fill out this Google form. I'm like, what? I thought this was supposed to be easy, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like these that's the missing piece of the puzzle is these centralized exchanges. And we've been trading altcoins for years. A lot of people never had a Litecoin wallet or whatever Bitcoin SV wallet, but they still traded those assets because they were on the centralized exchange. And I feel like we're kind of not pricing in the potential that they are going to list these assets. I think that's probably pretty clear. It's pretty obvious to me that fungible tokens on Bitcoin is going to exist. There's probably going to be a few different protocol standards, but I think that they've pretty much hit kind of breakneck speed and kind of clear the gap where these exchanges are going to be looking at that market over the next 6, maybe 12 months, but definitely probably 6 in my opinion.
Well, I'm just wondering why. I mean, Dog, you would think one of those runes would have happened, right after it launched, and they would have taken advantage of that. But
I agree.
I don't know, man. It hasn't really happened. It's kind of crazy that, we've talked about it a bunch, like how the pinnacle for tokens or whatever is getting listed on a centralized exchange. It's literally insane, right? But that's what it is. Go ahead, Dogfather.
Yeah, I think speculation in the market is that since Unisat has some, invest by Binance, that everything they do is more likely to got listed on Binance.
Yep.
Like Audi and others. I think that fuels the speculation. But I mean, at the end, a centralized exchange listing doesn't guarantee longevity of a token. Take the Runecoin token. I mean, it's traded on OKX, but I mean, it's not at $1 billion market cap. At least last time I checked, it was like at 50 million. So it's not guaranteeing that this is really flying. I mean, just a Taiwan exchange listing doesn't guarantee anything long term.
Wait, what is Audi at right now?
Not Audi, but the only Rune token, this ASIC Runecoin token. This is like at 50 or 60 million market cap right now, and it's the only Rune token that was listed on OKX. So it's not saying that once you're listed, I mean, this is a guaranteed $1 billion market cap fractal token.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. It is really interesting. I mean, just seeing whatever it was, Cat 20 run up in on Fractal this last week, but I mean, I understand people wanting to mint it or inscribe it or whatever. I get it, because you're doing it in theory, you're doing it pretty cheap for a couple bucks or whatever. But then the prices go crazy, and it's more expensive to inscribe something on Fractal than on native Bitcoin. And I'm like, we've lost the plot here to a degree. And then, but my question, I put this out on Twitter, I was like, who's buying these, right? I mean, I understand minting it because you want to be first and you are there, and then you might get a run up, but who's buying it after? Where is this market, dude? Where are all these people? Like, we've all, everybody in this space has gone through the last 18 months where all these new tokens have dropped, all these new token standards, meta protocols, whatever. Yeah, I'll mint ones if it's first and stuff and whatever. But do I think I'm actually going to be able to dump these bags on anybody? Like, who is the secondary buyer? Like, Chris, tell me who these people are. Where are these?
It's just you. Those are going to be in your wallet for a long time. You're going to enjoy the community, and welcome, my friend. Enjoy your stay here.
Your stay. I mean, yeah, I get it. I just don't. Yeah, the Fractal one, and everybody minting like I don't know. And people were losing funds because they were screwing up the inscriptions and the mints, and nobody had to do it. That was kind of the talking on a space earlier today. People were just losing money, just trying to mint Cat 20s, right? But you got it fine. You got a big fat bag of Cat 20. Raise your hand. Who's buying Cat 20s right now? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Like, realistically, bro, like Dogfather's like, I'm out. I'm not buying fucking Cat 20s. You're gonna buy the first fungible token on a blockchain that we're not even certain is like has legs. I don't know, bro. Anyway, that's my FUD of the day, I guess. Who knows? Maybe it goes to the moon. But look, to be clear, that was somewhat of my thought process when inscriptions were happening, right? And I didn't mint any of those first inscriptions, whatever, ETH 20s or whatever they were called. Bro, that was the biggest mistake of my life, bro. If I had spent $1,000 minting those, I wouldn't even be talking on this show right now, right? I mean, in my private island in Tahiti right now, bro.
They went bananas. We have the inscription guys on Thursday, by the way. Is that right?
Yep.
Sweet.
Facet's going to be on Thursday. Go ahead, Dogfather.
I mean, you should not underestimate the relationship between cats and the moon, right? I mean, cats love to go outside, They love it in the dark. They look at the moon. The only thing is they typically don't reach the moon. I mean, that's a huge problem, right? They look at the moon, but they don't reach it.
Totally. Well, yeah, this is definitely cat cycle in Bitcoin, which is crazy. I mean, because dogs always win in the end. So I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah.
I do love the Dogfather kind of touched on the Binance Unisat relationship. I think that that's extremely important. I mean, it's kind of surprising, not only that these centralized exchanges haven't been listing the tokens, but that they haven't been kind of pushing out or getting more involved in some of these updates. So I think that that's a pretty big step. Obviously, it's been they've had a close relationship for a while, but I don't know. I just feel like there's so many billion-dollar centralized exchanges. What are they doing? What have they done this whole year? Like, what are they doing? They have engineering teams of 100 plus. What are they working on? It kind of seems bizarre that everyone is so quiet to me.
I mean, working with Bells and trying to get it listed, I've gotten kind of a peek behind the curtain. And you don't want to look behind that curtain, right? It's like you see what it is, and what it is with, oh, you got to have a market maker and you got to have this and that, and you just realize what it is. And it's like, it's not great, right? I think it's in a lot of ways, it's kind of dishonest. In a lot of ways, it's very, very pump and dumpy. I mean, we saw, some listing, I don't know, the other day where it's like, a big exchange took like this meme coin that had like a, I don't know, $10 million market cap and listed it. And it's like, okay, well, if you're doing that, why not more? Or, why not Dog when Dog was almost at $1 billion, right? Makes no sense until you realize that, oh, wait, they were getting, 40% of the supply or whatever it was.
They did say that they were going, I mean, this was kind of combating the low float high FDV kind of narrative. And they did kind of make a claim that they were looking to list kind of more quote unquote organic or kind of smaller market caps in general. And I think that that's kind of been missing from the space. Obviously, so much of the gains have been kind of, cannibalized by, huge VC rounds and everything like that, that retail's been getting dumped on for like 4 years straight or whatever. Yeah. And so, I mean, having these kind of newer or lower market cap assets is pretty beneficial. I think it's been lacking in the space for a long time. But then it gets to your point where it's like, what are the thresholds? I mean, how kind of ethical is it for you to list it when you've received X% of the supply? Like if you're going to do it for the low market cap, do it for the low market cap, not because it's the low market cap that gave you a huge percentage,
right?
I guess,
or do it for a distributed community. And
for sure.
But even that, I mean, I get it from the perspective of number go up, because we all know number go up is the biggest attention grabber, and it's really hard for number to go up when your user or your holder base is so widely distributed. That's why I thought Dog was incredible when Dog was actually really pumping there, and that I think was in large part due to the number go up technology of runes, which is like, it's fucking hard to sell runes, right? If runes happened on, and had like Solana type efficiency, I don't think Dog would have pumped to $1 billion, right? People would have exited. But so part of that is that without, a really controlled, token float, can you get, just massive price appreciation? And usually answer is no, right? It's really, really difficult for that to happen. You have to have a tremendous kind of user base or interest base. So I understand why they do it. And I understand why, coins like, I don't know, Brett, do people talk about it, because fucking went to $1.5 billion. But dude, I could launch a coin too and control 99% and have it to go to $1 billion. Like, it's just.
Why do you think it seems so difficult to have a successful coin now when this industry's had successful coins for almost a decade and a half?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not new to launching tokens. That's the only thing. That's the only constant throughout our whole timeline, is that we've been launching tokens for 15 years. But all of a sudden now they don't ever go anywhere.
They do. I actually disagree. I think they actually really do go somewhere. And I think it's, we're learning as, buyers of meme coins and just coins in general. We're learning what works and doesn't work. And people who launch them are learning. And so it's just this like evolving process of what's kind of like an ideal launch or what isn't. And to be completely transparent. Like right now, if I were going to launch like and wanted a token to go up in price and become a multi-billion-dollar token, I would control as much of the supply, like more than 50%, definitely, right? It's almost the only way for tokens to go up in, you know, multi-billion-dollar pricing. And you look at, I don't know, Fractal, right? It's a perfect example, right? The team not only holds 50%, but the rest is not even in the supply is not even out there, right?
Can't sell
So,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
the
way
amount,
easier if you can't sell it.
yeah, the amount that's actually out there is like a super small 3 or 5%, right? So, and everybody who wants to use the network has to fight over that small percentage, right? So you can get these crazy, you know, valuations. And so, you know, we're learning. I mean, look, this it kind of loops it back into Trump. Like, what will Trump do, right? Probably something like this, because it just creates this hype cycle, which is the attention, which drives, you know, price to go up more. It's really interesting, and obviously in bells we've seen it a lot over the last, you know, month or so, and we certainly saw it at the beginning of bells, right, where there was almost no supply of bells. It was literally you had to mine it to get it. There was no place to buy it. It was all like OTC. And then the first exchange came on, and what happened? The price went up to $8 per bell. Well, why was that? First of all, people didn't understand the tokenomics. And second of all, there wasn't enough float to handle any kind of impact in pricing. And you still see that today. If you wanted to buy $50,000 in Bells coin today, bro, the price would double, right? It literally would. You know, there's just not enough out there for people to buy. So it's interesting. It's all these crazy market dynamics that make stuff just fucking interesting, man.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think is kind of the next narrative that we're going to? What are your kind of thoughts going into the end of the year?
Election
based, just election based, pretty much.
So election based, yeah, man. If Trump wins, bro,
what happens if Trump wins? What happens leading up to the polls?
If Trump wins, crypto will be incredibly bullish, but that just means us who are already here will be more bullish than we already are. But the reality is right now, everybody listening to me, nobody's really much richer, right? Like that part of the cycle hasn't happened, right? In 21, we had a huge run up of Bitcoin. We had a huge run up in Ethereum, and therefore everybody's bags got fatter. And then they bought NFTs and art and all this sort of stuff on top of it. We haven't had that. So even if Trump wins, if we don't have a price pump, I just, you know, we have to have that price pump for people to feel rich and start, you know, buying meme coins or NFTs again. I just feel like we need that.
What are your thoughts on Ethereum going into the end of the year? I think it's at like $2,200 or something right now.
All right. I'll give you the bear thesis on Ethereum. It goes much lower in the short term. I think it could go significantly lower.
Like, what are we talking? What are we talking significantly? 50% price cut.
I think you could go under 2K. You could go under 2K.
That's like 30%.
Yeah, I think you could go under 2K.
It was at 1,800, right, on the last August crash, I believe.
It went down. Yeah, obviously during the super bear, it went under a K, under 1,000, right?
Yeah. But recently, I think it was at 1,800. I think in August.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as far as prices. I'm not. Who knows? I'm not a trader like that.
Yeah.
I actually, because I've dove into it a lot now. Because I was like, Jesus, has Ethereum really lost the plot? Is it lost?
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think the Ethereum strategy is actually is the correct strategy. And I know the timeline destroys it. Like, this is the worst strategy. It's stupid. Where are the fees? You know, why even hold Ethereum? And you may not want to hold Ethereum short term. I don't know. But for me, what they're doing is, I look at it as the same thing that like any smart business does, right? What did Uber do? Uber comes out, makes it very inexpensive to use Uber. They grab the entire market, right? And now once they own the entire market, they can slowly raise fees, right? Ethereum right now is grabbing all the L2s. Every L2, you know, in the real ecosystem outside of Bitcoin, everybody's building on Ethereum, right? You get them all from the corporate ones Coinbase, to decentralized ones, Optimism, whatever. You get all of them to build on you. And you literally get, Wall Street to build on you with their L2s. They're centralized L2s. You get them to build on you for cheap. And it has to be cheap, because why would they build on you if it wasn't cheap? They would just build their own L1. So it has to be cheap. Everybody builds on you. And then maybe next cycle, it becomes so competitive that then the prices start rising, right? Then maybe Ethereum shifts to a little bit more of a model where they're capturing a little bit more in fees and stuff. And by then, nobody can leave, because why would you leave this ecosystem? It all works. And Ethereum just becomes this dominant crypto. I'm more convinced of it today than ever, because I think that they've actually won and are continue to win the L2 battle. Like, they're getting everybody who's building an L2 right now. There's no question you're building it on Ethereum, right? Why wouldn't you? Near free.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely the $1 trillion question. More so like, is it more so like the fat protocol thesis, or which way is it going? And I think it gets pretty difficult, right? Because, Uber is a closed network. You have to join the Uber network to operate within it. Ethereum is an open network. And, once these protocols, layer 2, scale on Ethereum, then it would be more cost efficient for them to kind of move to their own chain. And so you have kind of a situation where your biggest validators or your biggest transaction users are able to move off chain once they get to scale. And so what does that mean?
The thing is, why would they, for example, let's say, okay, BlackRock builds their L2, gets to size and scale, but why lose that interoperability of all these EVM assets, right? When, it's like leaving this ecosystem, which is, we're all just imagining it right now, but you get this idea that it's going to be a robust ecosystem. Why would you leave that ecosystem? If
it just depends on like their economic value that they would be receiving for how much they're using the chain. And if they can kind of produce blocks cheaper themselves, then it would be way more beneficial to kind of move on their own. But that's the $1 trillion question, right? Which way is it going to go? Yeah. It's kind of really insane that Ethereum is the price that it is today, with the ecosystem that it has today, the number of developers that it has today, as battle tested as it has been since 2015.
Yeah.
And the narrative around it is completely toxic. Like, almost nobody wants to touch it. And this is like one of the biggest engineering darlings of humankind. And
like all time. Like,
it really just seems,
dude.
In my opinion, this is like one of those you could have said this for the past year or 2 years, but this is like totally, literally Wall Street convincing everyone to sell them their coins directly before they buy them all. Like, it just seems so obvious. This is like such an easy narrative, I believe.
That's actually my feeling. Exactly. It's like they're looking to shake out or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but people are so short-term focused that they can't think 10 years out, right? Nobody can think 10 years out. But if you think 10 years out, dude, if you bought the Ethereum crowd sale and somebody told you, hey, in 2014, this is what's going to exist, dude, you would have been like, holy shit, how can I get more Bitcoin to buy more Ethereum? Like, this was unimaginable what they've built. And
truly,
to think that we're jumping ship because of what? Like Solana? Okay.
Because the fees are too low, Adam. Even though the fees were supposed to be low from the beginning. It's
right,
funny
because my ETH isn't deflationary.
My coins haven't gone up in a while, so that's it.
Right, exactly.
It's really incredible how the narratives can kind of change. And I was an early Ethereum investor, but one of the narratives or the thesis back then was that Ethereum and blockchains are software, and they're malleable. You can change them. They're flexible, and nothing is set in stone. And obviously, the belief is that whatever kind of speed bumps and hiccups that they face, that they'll overcome them with software, as they always have. And this just seems like another software problem, but the software problem is that the coins aren't going up in price for the users. And so
literally, that is the problem, right? Ethereum is not, at this point in time, at this sliver in time, its number go up technology is not working right? That's the thing that's the problem.
Right.
It's not the tech. It's not that they weren't able to move to proof of stake. It's not that the validators aren't legit. It's not that the chain is fucked up. It's none of those things, right? It's not that the L2s aren't working great. It's not that the L2s aren't profitable. Like the L2s are super profitable. And I think that's actually, I was listening to a podcast. That's the thing that like fully got me like, oh, wait, it's not a bad thing that Base is making $20 million a month in fees. Like that's a great thing, right? Because if you're Wells Fargo and you're thinking about doing a proprietary blockchain, where are you thinking about doing it, right? You're going to do it on Ethereum because you're looking at these other companies that have already done it. They've already integrated. The devs are all here. Everybody's already building here. It's just, bro, it made me, over the last 2 weeks, I've become, very, very convinced that my ETH bags, I just got to hold on it, as tight as possible and try not to be shaken out of them, man. Because it's really, I'm very, very bullish ETH again, very much.
I think this is another one of those situations where the fundamentals really just overshadow the price here. I mean, you're talking about even with the ETF alone, it has access to trillions of dollars in capital that the rest of the market just cannot even physically do, right? And so, I mean, I think that Wall Street's done an incredible job of spinning the narrative and really kind of getting people out of their coins directly before they buy them from them.
Bro, it's crazy, man. I mean, it is crazy to think about all the things that are positive for Ethereum, right? All the building on the L2s, their seamless move to, proof of stake, the merge and stuff, all the development happening on it. The ETF happens, the regulatory problems are gone, all that stuff. And ETH is basically flat.
Literally.
Right? It's like, I mean, at that point, it's either do you believe in Web3 or do you not? Because to think that Ethereum isn't going to be a huge part of Web3, I mean, can you possibly envision that happening? Like, I cannot envision that Ethereum. I mean, maybe Cardano comes out of nowhere, but I mean, I don't know.
Guys alone, Adam.
It just seems unlikely. Like, I know 5 Cardano devs, and they've all left Cardano and come over to Bitcoin and stuff. Like, I don't know anybody building over there.
You know all the Cardano devs, huh?
I know them all, dude. All 5 of those dudes, and now they're all working on.
You're in contact with the whole development team over there. I mean, it is just interesting for a temperature check, just to kind of take a moment and really see what Ethereum has accomplished. And I'm somewhat of an Ethereum critic a lot of times, but I mean, it's literally had, it's been in its own kind of wheelhouse along with Bitcoin since, the earliest days of the industry, when it really kind of started to get mainstream. And just to kind of see the sentiment around how the industry has kind of almost turned its back on it, quote unquote, Twitter has, it's just kind of insane how, really narrative driven this industry can be. I mean, this is one of the greatest technological feats of all time. And we're like, that's garbage. I don't think anyone's going to use it. It literally has hundreds of thousands of people using it, building.
Alex just dumped his bags. Oh, he's dumping on your heads. I'm like, bro, he just sold like 0.001% of his wealth, bro.
Yeah, man, it's too much. We cannot stand for this. We will not stand for this.
Satoshi never sold a token. Okay.
How many side wallets did Satoshi have? That's the question.
Bro, it's literally, I mean, I mean, that is part of the, that narrative of, and is the Ethereum Foundation great, or is Vitalik great? No. And they definitely hurt price, like simply because they hurt narrative, right? And when Vitalik, everybody watches his money, his ETH move out and move into Coinbase, and we're like, oh, here we go. Vitalik's dumping another 10 million, right? And the Ethereum Foundation, bro, I mean, they're selling $100 million in ETH. That's not great. But then again, I know they're a foundation. And if you know anything about foundations, they're wasteful as fucking shit. So they're out there just, I'm sure guys making 300 grand a year, just, working for the Ethereum Foundation. Like if they need to hire somebody, bro, I'm out there today, man. I'll go work for the Ethereum Foundation
Hey, you're
and
busy.
write,
You've got things to do.
and write papers about, protocols and blah, 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 and waste $100 million a year. Like, yeah, it's kind of sucks. But they also, dude, they also have like all those developers don't just happen by magic, right? They happen because they're supported. And, Ethereum, for good or bad, that their foundation is pretty much the most powerful in crypto, and they make shit happen, man.
Yeah, and we talk about kind of like Schelling points a lot in crypto, and how things kind of just reach a bounce back point, and you see price targets of 15, 20, $25,000 Ethereum. How does it get there? And I think that you really kind of need everyone laser focused on the future of Ethereum. I think you need the Ethereum Foundation realigned with the community, and this is exactly how you get something like that, where you had the Ethereum Foundation maybe building in all sorts of different directions, and maybe they did get too big where they didn't focus on the community enough. But this kind of brings everyone back home and focuses on the future, and that's kind of really how you get the building that would bring that price to some of those pretty sizable but definitely doable price targets that you can see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think, anytime you get to a size, I mean, we've seen it in Bitcoin, which is a much smaller kind of ecosystem of builders and devs. But even that is a complete shit show, right? Try to get anything done, dude, OpCap, when's that going to happen? Right? It's like even things that almost everybody agrees upon is a total fucking disaster. And so Ethereum's even worse, right? The foundation, at least they have Vitalik who can kind of help guide, but a lot of Vitalik's ideas fucking suck, dude. I mean, he wanted to put big tax on on the ENS names and stuff, just all sorts of terrible ideas, right? But, consensus is really hard to get, and it's really, really hard to get in crypto. And so they become like these big, super tankers, which are hard to like steer off course, right? Or move. And so in a way that's good. We get kind of steadiness, but in a way it's bad. And so I don't look for any sort of alignment between the Ethereum Foundation and the community for what we want. Zero.
Really? I
Yeah.
think that there's probably more alignment today than there's ever been
There may
between
be.
base, layer
But that-
twos.
I would say
Coinbase.
that's just by like random, more just like happenstance. And I don't know when the decision was made to kind of really hyper focus on L2s. But I do think it was the right call. And looking back, now I think it's the right call. I think we're early in the process though, and that's why it's painful.
We're always early, Adam. This industry is never late. You know that. This industry has never been late,
Never fucking.
and it will always be early. Does not matter how many years we are into the end. We are early. Okay.
Totally early. But I mean, if you think about it, how early we are in the process, it's like, dude, nobody uses this idea of Web3, the idea of crypto. Nobody this is not pierced normal, the normal globe doesn't give a shit. Nobody knows. Like, I'm serious. We're literally out.
It's incredible how small we've remained for so many years.
Tip of the spear, bro.
Less than 5% of the world is in crypto even today. Like,
Dude,
that's
there's way
insane.
less than 5. I think that number
Way
is
less.
vastly fucking overinflated.
5% of the world and is vastly overestimated. I mean,
I would say there's no way it's 5% of people actually know. Like, they may hold it in their 401k, they might have the Bitcoin ETF, but like
right.
crypto, like maybe they bought some on, I don't know, on Cash App or something. Oh, I'll buy $20 in Bitcoin. So they're a holder, but these people don't have wallets. They don't know what the hell's going on.
Imagine the differentiation between even just like touching it or hearing about it compared to like using it, like maybe sending one transaction or like signing in onto a decentralized application. Crazy. A good quote was from last night. It's kind of on the timeline, but yeah, Barron has like 4 wallets. What the hell is a wallet?
He's deep in it, man.
He's
got
deep.
like 4 wallets.
Barron's deep. He's got like 4 wallets. He's really spinning this stuff up. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff in Web3. He's huge.
He's huge in it, bro. It's so funny.
He's gonna launch $1 trillion DeFi protocol. He's got like 4 wallets. The guy is
so
incredible.
funny, dude. I mean, look, man, it's like, what was I was telling this story maybe last week or whatever. wife and I, we went out to meet a friend, and she had a new boyfriend, and so I'm talking to him. Great guy, dude, from California, Silicon Valley, last 25 years, multiple startups. This is like his third startup here in Costa Rica, doing medical devices. And we got talking about crypto for a minute, bro. I'm telling you, dude did not know what a public blockchain was. Like, it took me 5 minutes. I got him on board. I onboarded him, but did
Nice.
not know, bro. But he's like, dude, this is like a smart dude, wealthy, Silicon Valley, doesn't know shit about what we got going on over here. Not shit. So to think grandma down the street knows, or anybody down the street knows what the hell's going on, like nobody fucking knows, man. Nobody, bro. So
Yeah.
yeah, fucking early, man.
Yeah, no, we are early, just for for the record. You know, it was really cool. You can see when people kind of start to get it. You can kind of watch them like red pill themselves or whatever
Totally.
you want to say, and you can always see like the trajectory, especially like on Twitter. Like you can watch Michael Dell, for instance. He's like in the process potentially or whatever, and you
Yep.
can kind of just see them talk about these really kind of abstract, tangential crypto related things, and then it kind of continues to click, and then they go down a further road. You can kind of see it happen in real time, and you can kind of see Trump red pill the people around him and kind of red pill himself, the way he said, you know, with NFTs it really started to click, and then it leads to another kind of interaction, and you can kind of see all of these little circles kind of really understanding the industry little by little. But you know, we're kind of making a lot of progress, but it's always kind of cool to watch that transition and that understanding in real time, which I think is something you can kind of only get in this industry.
I thought that was really cool last night where Farouk asked him about it. And it was like the NFTs were the thing that onboarded him. Obviously made a lot of money on NFTs, but I think NFTs are this. We saw it a lot in 21. Like a lot of normies came in 21 because NFTs just made sense. Like baseball cards on the blockchain. Okay, I could deal with this, right? Like that made sense. Yeah, and I think crypto's always looking for that use case. And I think NFTs were kind of that really first good use case, which got a lot of new normies in. Go ahead, Dogfather.
Yeah, fully agree on that. I mean, if you tell people this is digital art, you can trade it now. It's easier. It's super easy to explain. It's just not so easy to maintain the momentum, right? So we had some cleansing. So I have to run in a second, but I wanted to share a piece of alpha to the 4 listeners that are still here with us. You know, we are so early. People are not there yet.
We're early.
The track guys who are running the TAP protocol, they leaked some alpha today. So I'm not sharing the tweet here, but people who listen may want to benefit.
So you can pin it up top. You can pin it up.
No, let's just do that. That only people who listen can actually profit from that. So you were asking who's buying these tokens, and I mean, there's a new community-run token on the TAP protocol on Doge, and it's called TAP, so TAP, and people are going nuts about that. It will be pretty soon on your timelines. There have been some OTC trades on Discord because the marketplace is not there yet. It will take a few days, and that's it. No pin tweet, but people who listen hopefully profit from that.
So is this something that it's already been minted out and you have to trade secondary?
Yes, it's already minted out even before the marketplace. Even before they even talked about that they support it. So some people, were just, as we guys were doing that, on these older blockchains. So they were sifting through all Dogecoin transactions and found some where it was like tap token and deploy this and that. And they were just minting everything. And one of those tokens were actually legit and the first, and it was minted out within hours.
Sure.
And now the degens are just going into that, of course, because it's the first. And the track team has lots of funding. They will pretty much build something that is way better than DRC20. And so this may take a few weeks, maybe even until the end of the year, till it's fully on marketplaces. But it may be something.
Tell me again what track, because this, like, I always get confused with all the tokens the track guys have. So what's is the tap token is going to be like the the gas for their system, or what's it going to be?
I mean, basically what they do, they have kind of like a complicated thing on Bitcoin, and everything on Doge is just like a side product because you can easily fork it and just have it there, cheaper, faster, and everything. And it's just a playground, I would say, for them. And it's on Doge. It's not their own token, so it's not like to fund themselves or as a utility. It's really community run. But at least they support, the tech behind, so indexing and everything, and then marketplaces and everything that builds on top will come from others. That's my view. And what they do on Bitcoin is basically more like an infrastructure provider. Imagine you still remember Graph on EVM chains.
Yep.
So it's like really deep infrastructure that they want to build. If you look into their documentations, I mean, you won't understand it, honestly. Yeah. It's like, really, we talked about that, right? All this hype, track, and whatnot. So it's a bit too complicated, but they sit on a lot of money, and they hopefully will build some pretty useful infrastructure, like really the backbone. Let's see.
So are they actually building on Doge right now, or is this just a token, but they're not really building on Doge right now?
They're not yet building. I think at the end, it depends on how much traction it gets. I mean, if people really got excited, it may be I think it may be something of great marketing for them to get some more eyeballs on their main product. If people have fun on Doge and trade this TAP token and other tokens on the TAP protocol. Because it's like on Doge, everything is cheaper, faster, and more fun. I think it could be great community engagement and grabbing some fresh attention, because the other tokens are already like distributed, and it would be something new, something fresh.
Gotcha. Go buy your TAP, man. On track. I did like their validator nodes, their node stuff. That's all done, right? Dogfather, they sold all their nodes.
I'm not sure whether all, but they sold quite a bunch.
Yep.
And I mean, at least the funding rounds were really impressive, and they have like 25 people now building on these things. And I mean, if they had marketing like their dev capacities, they would be all over our timeline.
Yeah.
Really, like. But I heard, rumors on the street is that they build up a new marketing team, and let's see whether they transport it better into our timelines.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was, I mean, we've had them on, but it was always very difficult to actually understand what the hell's going on. Which I know can be an advantage if you're trying to build hype around a token for complex kind of tokenomics, can actually be not a negative. It can be a positive, but still, I think for a lot of us, we just tone it out because it's just too much. Like I don't understand what's happening. I don't know. Maybe Chris can figure out what the hell's going on over there.
There's so much to keep track of. I mean, in the Bitcoin ecosystem alone, you have 10 different protocols you're supposed to be tracking. So it gets pretty insane for sure. We do have Solana Breakpoint this weekend. So probably a lot of updates coming out of Solana. So I think, what's that?
Are you going to go?
No, I'm not going.
Come on, man.
No, I'm okay.
Who's the Emblem representative at Solana Breakpoint?
Maybe, but I think that they're supposed to debut Firedancer, or at least have a demonstration of it live. So that's their second validator client. Right now they have just the Solana Labs validator client. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty big update that's been long awaited. And then last year, actually a year ago, almost exactly, Solana really kicked off what is kind of like the bull run of today, right? That's when it went from $8 to 180. The Solana ecosystem was the first to move. So we're kind of coming up on a year anniversary of that, and man, a lot has changed. But I mean, when I first started hanging with, getting to know Adam and working with Emblem, Solana was kind of like still an outcast. It was still, you know, redheaded stepchild. And look how much the narrative can change in a single year.
Totally.
You know, and Ethereum went through the exact opposite of that. But Solana went through what Ethereum is going through the year before. So it's like you're just kind of backflipping. But it's crazy to see how much the narrative can change. And I think that kind of really highlights it, how far Solana has come and also how far Ethereum has come. I mean, it's just really incredible to watch some of these engineering feats for sure.
Good stuff, man. All right, guys, everybody, tomorrow we're going to be on 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be diving into the SEC lawsuit and stuff like that. Excited to talk about that. Update on the Song of Day Man's lawsuit as well. We're going to get an update on that. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And then on Thursday, we're going to be with the Fractal guys. Talk about what's happening on Fractal. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Let's do it. Catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.